can feel it. We are such in a heat wave, okay? All I want to say is they're already talking about the Dell for tomorrow with Neo's show and Jagged Edge starting like an hour and a half late. Like, I'm a little disappointed, but you know, that means we have to go endure the heat and wait to see Neo and Jagged Edge. But long story short, it is what it is. Walter Reeder put out there that the show is not going to start until 8 o'clock. So we're going to make it do what it do. And we will be in the building, trust me. In other topics, the violence is still going crazy in Philadelphia, of course. The shootings are outrageous. We are over 300 murders, homicides in the city of Philadelphia. It's crazy. Coming forward in the future, I will definitely be touching on this topic with some of the city politicians, just to get an idea of where their heads really are in this, because November's election is quickly approaching. And I'm gonna say it again, stop voting for names that you know, and maybe it's time to vote for somebody you don't know, so that we can make a change and do something different. Because the same things, it just ain't working. And I don't mean to say it like that, but I'm gonna get real and keep it real. It's not working. Look at our city. People getting that knocked every day. You know, it shouldn't be like this. Bring in the National Guard, do something. Somebody has to get some kind of backbone and get a hold of these weapons. Put it this way, the broke people, they don't have weapons. They can't get them and bring them into these cities. So evidently it has to be somebody politically with some power and some money that are bringing them into the city and allowing these young children to continue to purchase these ghost guns and AK-47s and all that kind of big name stuff. And our police officers are stuck with these little weapons that do nothing against what these criminals have out here. So again, that's going to be an upcoming topic because we got to get to the bottom of it. And upcoming events, of course. On July 23rd at Sturgis Playground, it will be an author's flea market from 9 a.m. to 2 p.m. We will be out there. And actually, my two guests are going to be out there too on Saturday. They're authors, and we're going to do the darn thing. So make sure y'all stop by. It's at 200-220 West 65th Avenue in the East Oak Lane part of the city. Make sure you participate. We're going to talk more about it when I introduce my authors. Other upcoming events, the Topic House Live is August 3rd at Fifth Street Lounge. Happy hours from 4 to 7. The show will start from 7 to 8. Make sure you're in the building and make sure you're there for happy hour. We will host and have a real good time. They have plenty of food specials, okay? And the third thing that me and Crystal, I'm going to introduce her in one moment too, will be at is the grand opening of the Taj Mahal on August the 6th. We will be in the building vending, selling books as independent authors. So give me a second and I will introduce our first guest so we can jump right into this on the Topic House. Check this out. Okay, we're cool. My first author. These ladies have some hot books out. You can catch the books on Amazon. They'll be able to tell you more of where you can get them from. And then of course, I'll tell you where you can pick up mine from. But the first guest is Laura Tompkins. And we're gonna see what her book's all about. Come on, Laura.
Hello, hello, and thank you for having me.
You're welcome. Thank you for being here.
Excited to be here, I am, and to be among other authors. So thank you for inviting me. It's always a good thing to just kind of network and see what other authors are doing. I think a lot of times we don't, or we hesitate to put our work out there because we don't know what the body of work is that other people are doing. Feeling like we're stepping on somebody's toes or we're not doing the best that we can do.
Right.
So I just thank you for recognizing my work and for having me here today.
So it's beautiful.
Thank you.
Well, you can introduce yourself and tell them where they can get these books from after we introduce them. But you can go ahead and tell us how many books you have. And
Oh, wow. So I started writing about 4 years ago, and I've written 7 books so far and
Okay.
illustrated all of them as well. My editor is my daughter, Aviana Tompkins. All of my books are on Amazon, and a couple of books are on Lulu. So I did self-publish. It was the quickest and easiest way. It is not for the faint of heart, as you know, because there's a lot of kickback that you get from Amazon as well. It has to meet certain configurations. Your artwork has to meet a certain standard, and as well as just making sure that everything is copywritten.
right,
Because
Exactly.
people will take your work and use it for other purposes.
right.
So I have children's books, poetry books, and my favorite book, my initial book, is My Cup Runneth Over.
My cup runneth
My
over.
Cup Runneth Over, and it is a dedication book to my father, who lived to be 94 years of age.
Wow.
He was an
Bless
orator and a storyteller, but he just never took his craft and wrote it down.
Okay.
So I was charged with that responsibility spiritually when he passed. A coworker said to me, "Your fear is that you now have to take everything that your father gave you. You have to do it for yourself. You
Right.
can't take that cup and say, Daddy, fill it."
Right.
So I said, you know what? I don't need my
This is
dad to
wonderful.
fill the cup.
Mhm.
My cup runneth over. That man gave me everything that I needed and then some. So this book is about his stories.
Mhm.
And I made sure I was very selective in the stories that I chose for the book. I had about 50. I said, no, I gotta kind of limit this.
Is this
and
his
make it-
photo?
That is his photo. That's him and I on his 90th birthday.
Wow. He lived a prosperous life.
He did. And living through some of the things that, he's old as sliced bread. 1924 was when he was born, ice cream was still black. It wasn't bleached white yet. So the stories that he would tell, even about the history in Philadelphia, some of the things that he had lived through, the Mummers Parade and how racist that institution really is. That's a fiery topic when I mention that to people, but that is something that my father told me about. You did not go downtown on New Year's Day because, oh, dim golden slippers.
Wow.
Do we not listen to the history? We don't know. Sometimes we lose it in the beauty and the pageantry of the event.
Right.
But this book,
Mhm.
My Cup Runneth Over, and I have the written knowledge now to pass on to other people so that hopefully
that
that
they
won't
now-
get lost. Yes.
Yeah, I hear that. So now, was this the first one that
That
you
was the
actually
very
wrote?
first book that I wrote.
Okay, and how was that experience for you?
Emotional.
Okay.
I wrote it, I was so proud, and I said, I'm going to publication. My daughter edited, she said, "You sure you're ready?" I said, "I'm ready." And then I was asked to speak on the book, and I got cold feet.
Okay.
And I said, I can't do this, because I was so connected to my father and so emotional about it. And you can see I still
You
am.
still are.
So it was very, very difficult to read an excerpt of that. So what I decided to do was I said, I really want to reach children.
Mhm.
Sometimes reaching adults, if they have cognitive dissonance, they don't want to
Yes,
hear it.
exactly.
1 + 1 = 2. You tell them it's 3, you show them it's
Mhm.
3, it's still
And
going
they
to
want
be
to
2.
see something different.
Absolutely. So I decided to write tribute books. Unfortunately, I had a lot of loss in the next 4 years of my life, and I lost my mom. So I wrote a book called Mama Said. And if you guys remember a woman that would say, "Kiss my grits." Now, we know that sisters say "kiss my grits," right? And sisters say, "all snap." And my mother had very creative sayings, and they were not exclusive to her.
Right.
They are exclusive to, however, sometimes Black women.
Right.
And so one of the things that Mama said,
Mhm.
I just want to read one page, was
Right.
Mama said, when baby sneezed, I chew. Cover your little mouth, baby, and God bless you and me from you. And that would be even more relevant in COVID times now.
Oh, yes.
You
Most
know,
definitely.
definitely.
Yes. Beautiful.
So, and moving on, I wrote another book about my father, and I
Mhm.
decided to do a children's book because I felt like Black fathers are not recognized. There
Right.
are good Black fathers in the world who
Mhm.
contribute to their children.
Yes.
This is written in all iambic pentameter, and it's called On My Father's Knee, and it's a play on all the things that I learned on my father's knee.
Okay.
So from the time I could remember, my favorite place to be was on my father's knee. It was a place to learn and grow, a place I'd come to know, from whom all my blessings flow.
Beautiful.
So that was another tribute to my
See that?
father. This was a tribute to a love, and a love that was not traditional.
Okay.
So a lot of times we don't see chocolate bunnies, we see white bunnies
Right.
and black
Exactly.
tigers, and we see pink bunnies, and we see all kinds of bunnies, but I am a chocolate bunny.
Funny.
And there's nothing wrong with being a chocolate bunny. And the white line, being perceived as prey, and finding that love and connection with the person. So that's what this book is really about. And I tried to really gear it towards children that's between the ages of about 5 and 9.
Okay.
They're very, very impressionable at that age.
Yes.
And just even the simple colors that I chose and how I chose
Beautiful.
to kind of outline them. I wanted to keep it very clean, very neat, and the colors to be very neutral.
Right. Nice.
Moving on with my pain. The sisters
Even I see
always
them on a
tell you,
recipe for lemonade.
a recipe for lemonade is your
Okay.
hardships. And sisters are quick to tell you, girl, you better make some lemonade out of all of those lemons like me, and you sitting there crying. And I heard that over and over again, time and time throughout my life by a lot of older Black women. And I said, you know what, it's time for me to make some lemonade. I have the recipe. And so all of my frustration, this is the book, I started calling it An Angry Black Woman, but I said, you know what, people might not want that, but this is kind of the diary of an angry Black woman. And it just chronicles different things from relationships to racial
Is there something like
issues,
specific that it touches on, or?
especially relationship issues.
Okay.
Those are sometimes, I think, the hardest things to deal with in life.
Most
Because
definitely.
they don't come with any guarantees, you know,
Right.
they're not anticipated, the losses that you experience. Losing my dad at 94 was kind of anticipated.
Right.
Losing my mother at 84 was rather anticipated.
Right.
Losing people that you feel as though have your
Should be
back and
there,
should
have
be
your
there,
back. Mhm.
that is really hard. And it's devastating to your psyche,
Yeah, it is.
to your finances, everything, because you're really planning your entire life based on people you expect and anticipate to
Exactly.
be
So
there.
we think.
So
or
we think.
thought, exactly. And you know what, too,
Absolutely.
most important, time. Like you look back, I know with me and some of my relationships, I look back on how much time I wasted. But then I look on Facebook and see, no, it was a learning experience. I'm like, well, I'm glad y'all look at it like that. But to me, I lost a lot of time. And when I really think back on it, it hurts for the time that I can't
Because you
get
can't
back.
get that. Right. And the younger you are, the good thing is the youth, it's like, okay, well, that was 4 years. But at 50,
Yeah, thank you.
that was 4
It's
years,
like, wait a
and this
minute.
was 4 years, and that was 4 years, and that was another 4, and you know, and then you realize that you don't have that time.
Right.
you
I
know?
don't have another 4 years to play house or play,
Mhm.
you know, what you think you want to do.
Right.
And then you run off with whoever,
Right.
you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that was
One
my
at a
recipe for lemonade, and to all the
Oh,
sisters that told me, girl, you better take them lemons, make
And
some
make some
lemonade,
lemonade?
I did. And for the people that can't think abstractly,
Mhm.
I actually do have a recipe for lemonade in the book. Because I've actually had people who ask me that, well, what's the recipe? And I'm like, well, it's on the back page if you really want to make the lemonade. So that was just one way to connect to people who kind of
I
think.
have to get this one, so I can, you know, I'm sure I can relate, and so can a lot of you out there. Definitely, most def. Okay, and last but not least.
A Diamond with a Flaw. This is written with every little girl in mind because they are all diamonds. And I tell them that we have to teach little girls that you are precious, that you are a diamond. There is no flaw except for the ones that you create in your mind or you allow other people to impose upon you.
Correct.
And in this, it's a gentleman. It's just 2 characters. It's just a diamond and a gentleman. And this beautiful diamond, he wants this diamond, he covets the diamond, he wants it for himself.
Oh.
Only the diamond he perceives has a flaw because it's so heavy. He can't carry it. So he goes back and he plays with his little pebbles. Because that makes him feel like a man and it makes him feel good to play with the pebbles. But when he returns, oh, well, much to his dismay, he didn't want to do the work. And he returns for his diamond. Oh, this is him playing with his pebbles. That's him on the beach. He's so happy, right? And then he comes back, and what he could not,
Oh, wow.
Another
Hey,
man could.
I think
And
I
so
like that.
it simply reads, when Albert returned after several days, he was shocked to find a large man stood with his diamond on his back. Albert shouted and flared his arms up and jumped and screamed in anger. "This is my diamond, put her down. Don't you see I have a rope tied on her back?" He was furious and his eyes squinted and he clenched his fist. "She's mine forever. I found her first," he cried. Albert jumped up and down and yelled as loud as he could, demanding that the man give the diamond back. This was a big man.
This is a big man.
And he said, the large, strong man stood tall and began to speak softly. And he said, "I apologize. Here's your rope, sir. This is only the thing that belongs to you, but she is mine." Albert said softly, "But why?" The large man shook his head. "No, she is mine." The large man carefully removed the rope from Diamond and placed it gently around Albert's neck. He leaned in close and whispered, "Remember, never tether yourself to more than you can tell."
Isn't that one for the books? Who's that? You know what's funny? That is beautiful because that's kind of how life is. You know, they run over and play with the pebbles.
Sometimes people want the best for themselves, but when they get it, they're not ready. They don't think they deserve it and they throw it away.
Exactly.
And then when they come back, it's not always available to you. You know, it happens in jobs, relationships, people apply for jobs, they get the job. "Oh, I want this promotion. I want to be the supervisor." They get the job, right. And then all of a sudden it's kind of, "Oh, well, that's not really what I bargained for."
Yeah, I want that. I don't know this work.
I want the title.
I just want the money.
The money and the title.
Yeah, but I don't want this work. Yeah, but you know what? You have to put in work to make it work. And where can they find?
All of these books are available on Amazon. If you put in my name, Laura Tompkins, Tompkins, and there is very important, do not put an H, that has very cultural significance there. And if you read the book, My Cup Runneth Over, you'll know why it has cultural significance. That H is there for a reason. So half of my family actually does recognize the H, but my father would tell you, there ain't no damn H in my last name. So I'm currently working.
Live to be 94.
Yes.
I would listen to him. Yes. He had to know it all. Yes.
Those H's and stuff identify us as Black. And they were put there during the war. So when a Black man enlisted, they would give you an H to identify you from a white man.
Now that's good knowledge. Most that is great knowledge. Ooh. Well, this is fascinating. So, but I got a question for you that I want to ask after I introduce Crystal, only because like both of you can answer. I want to make sure that I'm on point with everything. 722. So we're going to introduce our next author, Crystal Pernell Bolden. Nope, Crystal Bolden Pernell. Pernell Bolden. You already know my motto, no, nobody's perfect. Topic House.
That's
Which
okay.
writes KIL. This is Miss Crystal.
That's okay. I go by Pernell Bolden, separate. It's okay. It's all me.
It's all her.
It's all me.
Okay, so Crystal, tell us, how did you end up becoming an author?
Hi everyone. Yes, I'm a co-author. This project is new. I'm new at this. My nephew, unfortunately, he's incarcerated. And but we're working on it. He may come home very soon. It's one of those Larry Krasner situations, but that's another topic.
Right.
So anyway, the book, Gunsmoke, Loyalty Over Love. He always says this, Auntie, loyalty over love, loyalty over love. And one day he said, I want to write a book. And his auntie, he called me auntie because I've had him. His mom trusted me with him. He was days old and he was at my house. But it's like I'm his second mom. And he said, I want to write a book. And I'm like, you could do it. I'm his cheerleader. Whatever you want to do, you could do it.
That motivation.
And yes. And one day it just showed up at my house. I'm like, oh, you serious? And I'm like, okay, nephew, I'll get it done. I've never done anything like this before. Like I did poems and I wrote little things, but you know, I put on a piece of paper and put it aside.
Right.
But when he did this, it was a challenge because it's like I had to help him.
Right.
And I just got started. No experience, I'm like I could do this.
Right.
And start editing the book, typing the book up. And we had some creative differences sometimes. So I am technically his co-author because I did have my own original ideas and things inside the book. However, I'm primarily the editor. His name is Laquan Purnell. And I'm so proud of him because up to this point, he had no idea what he wanted to do.
Gotcha.
And he was like, I want to write books. I want to be an author. Like, you could do whatever you want to do. So in addition to this book, and I'm going to tell you a little bit about it, but in addition to this book, he wrote 2 other books.
Okay.
So we're working on the other 2 books at this moment. Winter 2 is getting typed up now. But this book, I love this book because it really does have a plot. It really does.
Wait, let's
It
hold
really
it up.
does.
It's
Yes.
all Gunsmoke. No, wait. Loyalty Over Love, as y'all heard, by Laquan Purnell. And let's see it. Now tell us about it. So she's gonna tell us about it. So y'all can go buy it and purchase it on Amazon.
Yes, it's on Amazon. And you don't like to flip through the pages, he has the ebook as well.
Okay.
On Amazon. So the book is about 2 friends. It's based in Southwest Philly. My nephew lived in West Philly and Southwest Philly and Dayton primarily.
Okay.
So that's the setting for the most part.
Right.
And just 2 friends starting off doing things, exploring life. And first time having intimacy, discussing their little private affairs. And then, you know, it's somewhere around the theme of the 80s when a lot was going on and people had to survive.
Right.
So unfortunately, my nephew did things that he thought was best at that time to survive.
Okay.
His friends and you know, a bunch of other people, but it's primarily his one bestie. And so they did some things that to be creative and become entrepreneurs.
Okay.
And that was working out for a while. You know how it is when you're friends and things happen with friends and y'all have misunderstandings and things like that. So eventually some other things happened. I try not to say too much.
Yeah, I understand.
But
so I want to get a book away.
Yeah, I want to get all the book away. But
so honestly, some real stuff happened.
Some real stuff happened, and one of the characters get locked up, unfortunately. And but the best part about the book is the evolution. So I always compare the book to Power because one of the characters in the book is determined to turn his life around.
Similar to Ghosts.
Similar to Ghosts. And he's like, you know, I don't want to do this anymore. I want to turn my life around. And that transition is like, you know, that good side, the bad side, that, you know, that just that yin and yang, you know, you want to do the right things, but you're poor. You know, people who have addictions, they're struggling. So it's different elements going on. And because one of them get locked up, there's some incarceration scenes in there.
Which
you know,
is pretty much real life and what's going on still even today.
It's real. Struggle about relationships and love. It's real. You're growing up, you're trying to find yourself. You have a girlfriend, but you know, you in that life, and so other people pulling on at you. So so you know, a little bit of a lot of cheating and things like that going on. But like I said, the best part of it is the evolution. And you see the transition of the character from the beginning of the book to the end. And I'm happy that I supported this book because we all have to write about what's close to us. And my nephew wrote about something that he's passionate about. That's all he knew. He was very young at the time that he got incarcerated. So he wrote about what was close to him, what was passionate about him. And the most important thing, he doesn't want that type of lifestyle anymore. So he's changing. And now he has a goal, he has a vision. And he said he never knew at all what he wanted to be. He just absorbed what was going on Now he's an
Not
author.
one of
He's
them.
an
He
author.
is, yeah, he's an
And
author.
yes,
That's correct.
and I co-authored this. I helped him I'm the editor. I helped him
Mhm.
write it. And we had some creative differences. As I said, it's an urban book,
Right.
so the language is very creative.
Mhm.
It's very vibrant, but it's interesting. If we're in the middle of the tail end of the pandemic,
Right.
and this book was out of the pandemic.
Right.
And I wrote this book and struggled through when I was dealing with coming from a knee
Right.
surgery. So it was a struggle for me, and I'm trying to get it together. My kids dealing with all the elements of staying in the house through the pandemic and
Mhm.
stuff. So a lot was going on. It was a lot of
Right.
struggle going through this, but we persevered through. So I encourage anybody, you have a dream to be an author, whatever you want to do, be a personal trainer, you want to have your own business,
Right.
you want to be an entrepreneur selling things online, whatever you want to do, just push through.
Right.
Because that's the most important part. I really didn't know. I was encouraging my nephew and feeding him, but I didn't know how serious it was. And when I started getting excited, like, you can do it. And he was like, okay, I can do it. And then it was a challenge for me. The manuscript came.
Right.
I had no idea that he was going to challenge me with it. So we both learned a lot through this.
Okay.
And we have
So through
other
the process and
Through the
doing it
process.
together and
And
kind of
yes.
brought you guys probably closer together.
Absolutely,
And
absolutely.
and then prayerfully when he comes home, like he'll be able to tell people his story and then keep moving
Exactly.
and persevering.
Exactly.
That's what's important, to let other people know you can change your life,
Yes.
Just because you're behind bars doesn't mean that your brain stops working, doesn't mean that your creativity stops. You have to keep moving and you see the outcome. It can be done.
Absolutely, absolutely.
So
we're
now,
actually-
I was gonna say, now that you helped him with this and everything, how, like, what's your next step? Not his, what's your
Well, my
next step?
next step, I've been talking about writing a book for years. So
Okay.
he kind of pushed me out there.
Mhm.
So I'm in the process of finishing my book.
Okay.
And I didn't think you was gonna ask me because me and you had conversations about it.
Yeah, but my thing is like that, because I just feel like sometimes when you're forced in a position, like you sat back, you helped him, you pulled it through. So yeah, but you also have a story to tell. So
I do. I've
now-
been through some challenges over the years, and people who know me, probably look a little different right now. So I've been through some challenges growing up. I've been through some challenges, and this being here for I'm his only aunt.
right.
His first aunt, really, he is, great aunt.
Mhm.
But I'm his only aunt on his mom and his dad's side. So it's
Okay.
like, I was his support system. It's the story in that.
Right.
He's been incarcerated for 12 years.
Okay.
So
wow.
we've been through a lot of things together, almost 13 years.
Mhm.
We've been through a lot together. And I've been through things, a product of a single mom,
Right.
struggling. She got married, but it was a lot of things.
Right.
And I want to empower other women to do them.
Right.
And to, even if you're a wife, if you have children, carve some space out for yourself. Carve some space out for yourself. So I will delve into that a little deeper with my book.
Okay.
His book coming out is the second part, a sequel to this book.
Okay.
But my book is
Gotcha.
going into a different direction.
Okay.
It's
makes
more about,
sense. Mhm.
it's more about empowerment. It's more about, and I don't want to give too much away either, because I'll
That's
probably spit out the topic, and I don't want to do that. But it's just get yourself right, get yourself right. It's a lot of talk about you the queen and sister this and sister that, and those things are wonderful,
Mhm.
but we gotta focus on the inside.
No,
A lot of us
you
are
are so correct.
Yeah, a lot of us are so fixated on fix the crown and how you look exterior
Right.
and what's going on exterior. But it's a lot of internal work that we need to
Normally,
do.
what I say to women, my first question to young ladies most of the time is, who comes first? And they always respond with, well, my kids, my children come first. I don't mean to say it like this, but this is how y'all be. Because my kids come first, I give them everything. And it's true, but guess what's missing? It's called the umbrella. And the way I see it is, if you're not right, everything under the umbrella it's not gonna be right.
Oh, yeah.
It's not
for
gonna
sure.
fall into place like it should. Like when your mindset is correct, then your children's mindset are gonna be correct. You know,
Exactly.
if your mindset is correct, you're not gonna pick just anybody to be in your life with your children. You're gonna examine. You're not gonna have sex first and think later. You're gonna be like, what can you bring to this table? Because if you can't add to it, no, because I'm not introducing you to my children or to my household. Because you know, we all live a certain kind of way, and a spiritual invite into your house. Come on now. You might not, no, we good. So, but I always influence them that way to ask that question, because if your kids running around in Nikes and Louis Vuitton and all, and they growing right out of it, and you don't have no savings account for them, you don't have any, you don't take them on trips to go to restaurants, you know, y'all just swinging through McDonald's. No, you're not training them and raising them to be proper adults and be able to add addition to society. You're making them become a menace as they grow, because now they can't get this Louis Vuitton or whatever. Now they're out here robbing us, the working people.
Right, exactly.
And
I mean, like,
and our kids who don't mind wearing anything.
exactly.
You know, it's mine. I just bought it home. I ain't play that. Like if it was on sale, you got it. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
I had friends who knew which, like, you know, when Guess was popular, he knew the brand of Guess, and it was last season's. He wouldn't wear it. My son was like,
Wow.
my son was like, they weren't those jeans, they under $10. Mom, give me every color. Exactly. You know what I mean? So it really depends on the mindset and what you put into your children's lives. You
But
know,
that was
you
so
gotta,
good.
it's like you just said too, like the inside. If they're aiming from the inside out, they're gonna see their value from the inside out and know, all right, fine. Because well, not to say that my parents didn't raise me right, they did. I love my mom, you know, she's in heaven. But it to me, like when I look at, here again, I'm gonna admit, the comedian that was laughing now and delusional jealousy. Had I known some things, I may not have gone through some things, you know what I mean? But I went through some things. So it's just a matter of what we go through, how we're raised, and then how we mentally prepare ourselves as we get older, start believing in different religions, or, you know, no matter what religion you believe, as long as you believe in a higher power, and know that there are going to be consequences to things that happen in your life.
Absolutely.
So,
Now, my children in particular, I don't post everything. And sometimes the social media is just too much for me. I get a little angst, so I'm like, I gotta pull back. However, I don't post everything, but my children travel a lot. They have big passports and they travel.
That's beautiful.
And I'm just, you know, shut things down a little bit through the pandemic, so I'm glad everything's opening up. We don't care about having the latest and the greatest. I only buy those Jordans and things like that if they're on sale.
Right.
Only.
Got you. Right.
Only.
But at least they can say they've been where.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Because that's important. Like it's important for your children to be able to say, well, I've been here, and I've been, like my sons, they've been in South Korea, you know, Australia, different places. They're able to say that they've done more than I've done. Because I threatened them, because you know I was scared to fly. So I was like, when they were in South Korea, my thing was, if you mess with North Korea and your ass gets stuck over there, I'm not coming. Because I don't think I can take the flight.
But I'm glad you over there. You got it out the way.
Oh yeah, I thought you went to San Juan.
I'm glad you over there.
Yeah, finally on the plane. I'm over that fear now.
No, my children, my youngest was traveling at 6. So they've been doing a little something. But I can't post everything, it's just too much.
No, it is.
I can't do it.
And Laura, that's awesome. You have children also?
I do. I have a 24-year-old exceptional daughter and a 17-year-old exceptional young Black male.
Okay.
And when I say exceptional, years ago, I was just frustrated because the school started calling me, oh, your daughter's having problems, this is going on, that's why I'm like, my daughter, my perfect little angel. To make a long story short, this teacher recognized that she was gifted and talented academically.
Right.
She was able to quote unquote dumb it down. Okay. And she said she remembered when she dumbed it down. My son, on the other hand, is equally academically gifted and talented, but he wasn't dumbing it down for anybody.
Gotcha.
So what then turned into an academically gifted child turned into a child that was now identified as having behavioral and emotional issues.
Okay.
So the other side of what I do is called Above the Mean.
Mhm.
And it is a program that is designed to identify and support parents and children, especially children of color, who are gifted and talented.
Right.
Ask me if I've ever gotten funding for that.
No.
No. But that is what, that is my mission in life, is to
Right.
identify those kids and to make sure that they get the services that they need. And when you speak of that umbrella, it's a smaller umbrella with a bigger umbrella, being the community,
Mhm.
being the government that then supports that.
Right.
And it kind of falls apart,
Mhm.
even on the level of just the parenting. When you said, you asked them that question, I knew I could have answered. I should have, because that would have been funny.
Mhm.
Oh, it's about my kids. But if it's not about you
Mhm.
and you're not setting the example, sometimes your children, and some of us are guilty of this,
Yes.
they become a way for us to really deflect from what we have to do
Exactly.
for ourselves.
Mhm.
I can focus on my child. I can put
Mhm.
all of my energies
Yeah.
into this
This
kid,
kid.
Just
manifesting, yes, what I should be doing.
Doing.
Because my daughter
For
was going to be a
myself.
model and a dancer, and she was going to live all my
Right.
dreams.
Gotcha.
Until she got to be 17 and said, I'm going to be an engineer. And I'm like, you going to do what now?
Mhm.
No, that's not how
Yeah, that's
it's
good.
right. You know,
So
but
the choice.
it is her choice, and I let her fly. She is now an electrical engineer, but
Right.
you know, a lot of times we as parents tend to do that. We tend to put into our children what
Yes,
was our dreams
definitely.
and not live our own dreams. But the best example is live my dreams so that my child learns to live their own.
Yeah, to live their own. Exactly. I agree with you. Now, my next question for both of you is, as far as writing you, now I know you're not done. So are you currently working on anything new or? Mhm.
I am. So I am doing a sequel to the poetry book.
Okay.
I'm a little bit torn because this was a recipe for lemonade,
Mhm.
and really where I'm at is I was dealt the sugar honey iced tea. So that is really going to be the name of the next poetry book, is Sugar Honey Iced Tea. And
Okay.
yeah, I will actually have a recipe for iced tea in the book for those people.
All
who
right
make
now.
concrete. And the other thing that I'm working on is another children's book called Red Flags.
Okay.
And that kind of delves into what we were talking about a little earlier off
Mhm.
camera. And red flags are just simply things that we as people in general see in other individuals in relationship, and we tend to ignore.
We ignore them.
Yeah.
I mean, I ignored all of them. Jesus.
We also.
Gosh. And then when I woke up one day, how you look in the mirror and you be like, damn, and you get like a flashback of everything, like from the beginning.
Right.
And you be like, why have I been so dumb? But we're not dumb, we're very educated women, but it's just a matter of we have feelings and emotions, and your heart wants to believe that this is the one. This one right here.
This person will change.
Or this person wouldn't hurt me like this. But then all of a sudden, boom.
Right.
Sugar honey iced tea.
Exactly.
Boom.
The gaslight you second guessing yourself like,
Right.
maybe I need to edify this. I need to fix this. Maybe I need to look at it from another
Mhm.
perspective.
Right.
It is.
Because that's like in my life right now, the point where I'm at now is by invite only. I feel like as far as my life is so well reserved right now that unless I specifically invite you into my life, and then when I invite you into my life, when you start giving me that sugar honey iced tea, you gotta go with no ice.
Absolutely.
Keep it moving.
Boundaries.
Because some people, they just think that, all right, fine, well, these men, and I'm talking men, I don't know the age of you ladies, but I'll just say we're probably
Listen,
in
I'll
our
be
50s.
55 in August, and I'm proud of it. I'm grateful.
But it's
So,
so
yeah,
great,
it's
great
excellent.
you have.
But all right, so can I ask you a question? Like, as far as men, our age, what do you see? Like, is it like dating younger again? Wanting to date older, wanting to date somebody your age? But what I'm getting is so much game. Like, I'm getting game, like seriously, and I don't have time for it. I have no time for games. I have no time for the BS. I have no time right now for small children. So yeah, but I mean, God willing, if God put that man in my life and he has small children, I don't have to deal with it because I know that, like where I'm at now, God sent them.
Right.
So if God sent him and he's the one and he got two little ones, all right, God, you know, I do this, okay, but it's not my preference right now. Because I'm kind of wanting to do me. I'm in a whole new realm of what I want to do now. Like I know what I want. So, and I'm not settling for anything less at this point in my life. So how do you ladies feel like as far as getting back? Like I don't know.
Well, I'll speak on that kind of for myself because it's for me, I'm reconciling a lot within myself.
Okay.
And that was the hardest challenge, was understanding that, you know, it's easy to play victim. Oh, poor me, that was me,
Exactly.
I had no idea. But really recognizing that my choices, I am a product of my choices.
Right.
Whether I decided to eat a bowl of ice cream yesterday and I have the consequences today, my relationship with people and how I allowed them to deal with me,
Right.
and recognizing and reconciling also what we've been taught and trying to unteach some of those things that are not truths. One thing, for example, that will be in the book, and this is just a snippet, it's Jane loved John and John loved Jane, if you guys remember that, where he pulls and her head falls off. But this is kind of a play on that, where Jane is told that John pulled her hair. And the teacher said, but you know, John likes you. We start learning at a very young age that abuse is
It's acceptable and it's not.
And it's an expression of love when it really isn't. And those toxic things that we learn, I'm trying to teach myself. I'm unteaching them very, very slowly. You know, my father had a slogan that he said to my brothers only. Tell them anything.
Because anything will do.
Anything will do. But he should have armed his daughters and said, don't listen to nothing.
Exactly. I agree.
Absolutely.
You are so correct.
Gave you the tools to at least be a little bit prepared. You're not going to be prepared for everything, but a little bit prepared, you know. But you know, it's an evolution. We're all going through this stuff. I am. I didn't know we was going to get into this, but I
It's a topic house. Anything can happen.
Angel pulling some things up under her sleeve on me now. But I am recently divorced for almost 25 years. And
That's a long time.
That's a long time.
Like,
It's
wait, I gotta cut you right quick. But see, that used to be my dream when I was a little girl. I used to be like, I'm gonna get married and you know, I'm gonna be married forever, you know. And how about I've never been married? So imagine that. So never been married. Then there's some messed up relationships, but I've never been married.
I've almost been married 3 times, but I decided to get married to someone that I grew up with. We knew each other. It was, for me, religious. Like I really fell in love with him for religious reasons. And we connected on that level. We're both family oriented and we're still cool today. If you see us out, it's like we family still. So there's no issues, but some decisions had to be made. And what's that now?
But was it more for the sake of your happiness or like for your mental state? Okay, so for your peace of mind.
Yeah, it was a lot of stuff going on, but like Laura said, we are a product of our decisions. So I would never just put it all on her. It takes 2 people to be married, 2 people to get divorced. It was a struggle. It wasn't an easy thing. It wasn't an easy thing. And it seemed like it because I'm the one who asked for the divorce. But it wasn't easy. I had to push forward because if I didn't push forward, I wouldn't be there, not only for my nephew, but my children. I have another village outside of my immediate family. I have friends. I have 3 brothers that I adore. I am the oldest sister, so I've always had that big sister nurturing type of, even with my friends. After a while, I start like taking over, not intentionally, but I had that little mommy thing going on. But I had to pull out. I had to. And it was devastating. It doesn't seem like on the outside because I'm just so cool with it on the outside, but that's my demeanor anyway. Generally, I'm a calm person, and I'm the type of person you have to really push me in the corner. Once I get in the corner, it's very, very ugly. So I used to have a problem with I'm talking I can put this out there. See, I used to have a problem with, I feel like being alone, you know, at one point, like in my life, like, so I would enter a relationship and then when it ended, I would jump into another relationship without checking myself. And this time, after this last one, it's like I dug directly into me. I was like, and you know what? That relationship
before that one should have never happened.
Yeah.
This relationship should have never happened.
Definitely. have
And
to-
now you have to get a relationship with you and God, because he's gonna make sure that the next one is the one that he sends me. And I know that it's gonna be okay. But right now, I'm so comfortable by myself. I'm so much more at ease, like I'm more at peace. And you notice the BS. I mean, don't get me wrong, I still get my urges, I had my urge for this one person. That's finally over with now, because he showed his little ass, and I'm like, whatever, seriously, like, boy, bye, because you can't enter into something like that either. I want somebody to want me and love me for me and bring me my flowers while I'm alive. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Right. And I don't want, if I gotta chase you or something at this age, you're not the one. I'm good.
Well,
I'm
people
good.
talk about being equally yoked. It's not about that. It's about being fair. This is my perspective.
Right.
Because one partner may be at the 60% and another partner may be at the 40%.
Right.
But if that's all you need is 40%. Like some people don't need that much attention.
Exactly.
So whatever feels like the right
Comfortable.
thing for that particular situation. Some people, everybody have different love languages.
Yes.
And some
absolutely.
people want you up under them all the time, and so they may
Some
need
people
more.
want to cook for you all the time.
Hey,
And then and you know what? That's what I had to learn too. That love is different. Like people have different ways of showing their love. Like I'm a gift giver normally. Like I'll see something, think of somebody, be like, oh, buy this. Oh, he'll love this. Da da da. But and then the last person I had, like he was a cooker, so he would cook me all my favorite foods, and I loved it. You know what I mean? Like that was all. My girlfriends be like, oh, all you gotta do is cook. Yeah, I love food. Yes, and he cooks it better than the restaurants we used to go to. So I'm like, love language is very important.
Very important.
Or as far as relationships,
Divorced several years now.
Mhm.
Was married very briefly. It just did not work from the beginning. A house divided against itself will never stand. We had different love languages, like she said from the beginning.
Mhm.
He was the type of person that would do things, and he would point that out. And I'm like, but you did something that, like something odd. Like I would say, the door needs to be hung.
Right.
But he didn't hang the door. He came in and he made dinner. But I was supposed to applaud the fact that dinner was made, and I'm frustrated
But the
because
door.
I couldn't get the
Well, let's
door.
not talk about the door.
Yeah, so it was just kind of that love language. What I required was conversation, and I required
Yes.
that quite often. The practical things, and he did not want to do that. Everything was divided down the middle. He brought a daughter into the relationship. I had a daughter, but
Right.
it became his daughter, my daughter. But for me, it was our daughter.
Right.
And I said, how is that ever going to work?
No, that's
So
not
we just
right.
have
When that
very
division is there from the beginning.
Yes,
like,
and he's
like when you marry, it should be. You should become
collaborative.
as one.
No,
Exactly.
he told me you have a very confused idea that this is a democracy. This is a dictatorship. And I knew then we're in
Oh
trouble.
my.
Yes.
Yes.
I said this is a problem, because while I would consult with the kids, it's something as be as, what would you guys like to do today? And the girls chimed in, we want to go here, we want to go there. And his response was, no, we want to do X, Y, and Z. And I was like, okay, that's not just being a leader. There's a difference between leading the family, and I respect that,
Right.
than just making complete autonomous decisions. So
Right.
um
Because it should never be like that. It should be more of a collective decision.
Yeah.
Well, maybe we could do this and then we'll do that later or
I mean,
something.
not only that, children have a voice that
Yes,
they
they're most
start
definitely.
growing up.
Mhm.
And in order to empower them and make them have confidence in their decisions, they need to have input. That's the practice. They need to practice the things at home. Mom, can I have this? They need to practice advocate for themselves.
Mhm.
They need to practice decision making.
Yes,
They
because
need to
that's where it
practice
starts.
conflict resolution. Well, what do you think? And how do you want to handle this? And if they don't have any feedback,
right,
and if you don't have any feedback
right.
in your marriage, like
What message is that? And again, like where I'm at in my life is really honestly taking the time to unlearn some of those negative things,
Exactly. I can imagine.
Kind of back to Jane loved John and John loved Jane. When Jane gets to high school, John will slap her and he'll say, but I love you. When Jane goes home and says to mom, well, mom, he slapped me. Say, oh, well, honey, he'll get that out of his system. He loves you. And we affirm abuse
Yeah, we
over
affirm
and
abuse.
over and
Over and
over again.
Oh, so that's gonna be a very good book. So
Yeah.
we'll definitely, I have you back to definitely talk about that because that's serious. Because it's true. Because I believe it's why some young ladies and women stay in abusive relationships
sure.
because they think,
For sure.
oh, he loves me. You know?
Or it's
See, I had all brothers, so my thing was, I had to fight over remote, so I'm a little different. Because you put your hands on me, you definitely gonna get what you came for. You know what I mean? Like, I don't have no problem serving you, like I don't. Even though I know it's not really like, I don't do it anymore. I'm cool. But if you bring it, you gonna get got. Like, whether you sleep or wake. But anyway, I'm sure they can tell you some stories. They need to write a book. I'll condone it. Yeah, that Ian's raised it. She sure, yes, let me tell my side, I sure did. Cause you know what? You ain't gonna play with me like that. I'm not here for that.
It's very conflicting. I tell people about the story of the and I'm paraphrasing here, about the frog. And you know, if you throw a frog in the pot of boiling hot water, the frog is gonna jump out.
Right.
But if you put the frog in there and it's at a comfortable temperature, and you know what, the frog is comfortable and swimming around, and then you just gradually turn the heat up, you're gonna kill it.
Right.
The frog will not get an opportunity to jump out. You know, so what people don't understand, you know, we get killed. It's about 8 levels of abuse.
Right.
It's not just physical and emotional.
Right.
It's not just financial either.
Right.
It's religious. It's all kinds of
Yes,
different
different
ways
directions.
you get abused. And sometimes people don't know that. They don't know that they're in the thick of it. They don't know that they're in the middle of the ocean.
Right.
And they need to make a
So
decision. They don't know. And it's and like Laura said, we condone it. Well, he said this to you, but he didn't smack you, he didn't punch you. So
The measure of a man by what he doesn't do.
Exactly.
You don't understand, like so
Right.
many times.
So it's a lot of dynamics here, and
Most definitely.
we can't just talk about it. It's layers. We can't just talk about it. We have to do the work, and we have to stand in our conviction.
Right.
And once we make a decision, we have to live by that, and we have to be accountable for what we bring to the table.
Right.
So I was a lovely wife, a daunting wife. I was attentive. Everything was about my husband. Everything. So I don't regret anything about asking for the divorce because I put everything into it.
Gotcha.
And he had his part too. We had our parts. But I encourage women and people in general, because I witnessed personally men and women walking down the down the streets. And I've seen women verbally abuse me.
Right.
And I was mortified by that because I would never talk to my
husband
mate
that
like
way,
I would never. And I've seen women pick up the bags and like yelling and cursing at a grown man.
They probably do it.
And a grown man, you know, so it
They
goes
probably
both
do it,
ways.
though.
It goes both ways.
It
It goes both ways. But I think that we really have to do a lot of internal work. Why are you even accepting this? Why are
On
you
both
even accepting
levels.
this? On both levels.
Because what I realized too is like I heard a young lady say, when I treat them nice, you know, they treat me like XYZ, but when I'm nasty to them, they cater to me. If they think I'm gonna leave them alone and da da da. And I'm like, wow, you know. And but then when I thought back on some of my relationships, I was like, she could share there. Because in the beginning, some of it was me like that. Like, I'm not settling for this, you know, XYZ, you know, and then it was more like we gradually went in and then we gradually went this way. Right.
But like you said with the young mother, and then speaking of my gifted son, I had talked to him, I said, what do you think about the relationships that I've been in? Because my concern now is what am I leaving behind? What is my legacy?
Right.
And what is he taking away
Right.
from that experience?
Absolutely.
He was
absorbed.
Right.
And he said, well, Mom, what I saw, he said, I saw you give your all. And he said, and I didn't like what you got in return. He said, but what my goal is to do for a woman what I know should have been done for you.
Yeah.
And I said, that's the takeaway.
That was
The takeaway that I raised a good man, and I am okay. Because I know that you won't do to others what you have seen being done to them.
What a blessing.
And namaste, lady, that is our time in the Topic House. But what I'm gonna tell the people, I need to tell you all about this. This Saturday, July 23rd, at Sturgis Playground, is 220 West 65th Avenue. We, all three of us, will be in the building, and you will be able to purchase all of our books. if you come through. It's also a flea market. It's called an author's flea market event. It's a fundraiser for Surgeons Playground. Please make sure you attend. It's from 9 a.m. to 2 p.m. Tell a friend to tell a friend to tell a friend and tell a family member too. So they'll come out and support us, okay? And then on, again, like I said, August 6th, we'll be at, where's it? Taj Mahal on Huntington Park with our books again. But try to catch us at the flea market. It's gonna be a beautiful Saturday this week.
And all of our books are on Amazon.com.
Yes.
And you have other platforms?
Just Lulu, that's it.
Lulu. I'm sorry, Lulu.
All right, y'all. And I know y'all want to know what my topic will be next week, but guess what? I bet you think my topic's about you. Tune in and find out next Wednesday in the Topic House at 7 p.m. on Sadior Radio. See you then.
Awesome.